Hey guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books. Okay, do you guys remember that thing? It was like that arm thing to like, I remember my friend got one of those to like strengthen your arms, and she did it and she was like real serious about it. You can get it on like paid programming, and she was like, my dogs are barking now, they want to do it. She was like, it really tightens your arms. I'm gonna see her in about an hour and I'm gonna be like, Tanya, do you still have that arm shake thing? She's gonna be like, what? Who? Like, she'll act like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. How are you guys? Oh my God, oh my God. Okay, so I am coming off of just doing a video about advice to Trisha Paytas on my other channel. If you guys don't know what my other channel is about, it's kind of about pop culture-y kind of things like Jeffree Star, Kat Von D, blah, blah, blah. But really what it's about is laughing at the gossip columnists that talk about Kat Von D, Jeffree Star, Trisha Paytas, Gigi Gorgeous, all those people. Because I love that as well. And it's really interesting. Like in the last 24 hours, I've gotten like 100 new subscribers and people are like, oh my God, this guy's funny, blah, 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 blah. And so it's been kind of fun. Like I love doing something totally different. Yeah. So anyway, but I am keeping up with BookTube. I have been today planning my October reads, 1. 2, planning what I'm going to read for Diversathon. Are you guys doing Diversathon? I made a video about it. If you haven't watched it, go watch my Diversathon video, my diversity video, where I talk about some personal things and yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And then I am trying to figure out like what books I'm gonna read for Diversathon, because I'm trying to pick like things that like I've never been exposed to before or I don't know anything about. So I've been like Googling a lot today and like important books to read and blah, 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 because I really want to be educated on some certain things, if that makes sense. So yeah. And there's like, who is the book? Somebody was talking about it the other day. It was Sajid, is that how you pronounce your name, Sajid? Anyway, he talks a lot on his channel about this book about feminism by somebody gay. You guys, I'm so uneducated right now, but I just wrote it down over there, and I think I'm going to read that book for the diversity book, Diversathon. Anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to read a lot of books that will educate me and will give me an open mind and help me to learn new things about the world. And because I think that's the whole point of Diversathon, and I'm super excited about it. I linked it on my other video. You guys should definitely do it. Yeah, if you guys don't know about it, Christina Marie, Whitney from Witty Novels. I don't know who the other 2 are. I can't remember. But anyway, there's like 4 people that put it on. It's going to be so cool, and I think it's going to bring a lot of exposure to enlightening and positive books of diversity. So, the next thing is, I finished, my squeaky voice, I finished Nicola Yoon's Everything, Everything. Which I think in my like 4 months of being on BookTubeathon has been the #1 book that everybody has asked me what I thought of. And so it's interesting. I will tell you what I think of it. I was a little mixed about it. I went into it loving it. I will tell you, I listened to it on Audible. I did not love the narrator. I thought the narration was very confusing on Audible, okay? Because it had one person doing the voice of Carla and Maddie and Maddie's mom, and then Maddie's mom switched halfway through, and then when you did the online things with Ollie, like Ollie's voice was different when he was like online typing than it was in it just was, the narration was very confusing, and honestly, for me, a narrator's voice kind of wins me over for a book a lot of times, and it's nothing personal, I just didn't love her voice for Maddie, if that makes sense. But I thought the book was very, very good. I thought it was very endearing. I was like a third into it, and I started getting kind of bored, and I almost DNF'd it, to be honest with you. And then so many people had commented on it, and was like, oh, it's one of my favorite books, it's one of my favorite books, it's one of my favorite books. So I was like, okay, Peter, you have to finish this book. And you know, I don't typically not finish books if I bought them on Audible, so I finished it. Okay, that last third, you guys, was not right. It totally knocked my socks off. I mean, I ended up loving that book so much, you guys. I thought, Nicola Yoon is a mystery writer? That's truly what I thought. Like, I was not expecting that last third at all. And I'm probably like a lot of you readers out there that when you read a book, you can kind of see it coming, but like, I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, I really, really did not see that coming at all. And so, very sick and very psychiatric. I loved it. I thought it was genius. And I thought that I liked that it was taken, I'm trying not to spoil things, you know, out of the context of just being this horrible situation and turned it into something beautiful in the end and liberated her. I loved that. I just thought it was the coolest thing. So yeah, so I think I'm going to read her other book that came out like last year too. So if you guys have any other recommendations, she's only written 2 books, right? Nicola Yoon, and she has another book coming out next year, I think. So I'm like a Nicola Yoon fan now, like, so I've loved it. So anyway, so there's that. And then I have made a decision that before adding any other books to my TBR that I already did, but I'm not going to pick those books up until I have finished like the 7 books over there that I am currently reading. I want to get them done, and I want to read 1 book at a time, and 1 audiobook at a time. Because I just cannot keep up with it all, you guys. It's like too much for me. I love to read, but I'm very much like a grazer when it comes to snacks. Like, oh, potato chips and orange slices and candy and this and that. I'm like very much the same kind of reader. Like I read all over the place, right? And it's just not working for me like at all. And what the really interesting thing was that I am buddy reading The Great American Whatever by Tim Federall with Rob at Books and Bob's. And so the other day I hadn't picked it up for like 3 days, and I picked it up and I totally had forgotten like what had even happened. And I'm like, okay, this is becoming a problem when you're not reading a book for so long. And that was 3 days. I mean, I have an Ellen Hopkins book over there, you guys, that I haven't picked up in over a month. And I'm like, I don't know that I'll even know who the characters are anymore. And that's not an enjoyable way for me to read. And so many people ask me like, how do you read so many books at the same time? Not very well, obviously. So I need to try a different shtick. And I'm going to try like reading 1 book at a time once I finish those. And I'm actually, as I read those, I'm reading like 1 at a time. I'm reading the Michael Crichton one right now and I'm finishing it. Now I'm going to contradict myself because as I say that, well, it's an audiobook. I'm doing the Chuck Palahniuk, I'm going to tell you about that in a second, Palahniuk, not Palahniuk, the Chuck Palahniuk class, buddy reads together. And we are reading Fight Club. Fight Club! The first rule of Fight Club is, do you know? Do you know what the second rule of Fight Club is? Do you know what the 7th rule of Fight Club is? Because those are the ones they mention in the book. 1st, 2nd, and 7th. Okay. 7th is the reason why I would never be in Fight Club to begin with. First of all, it's really hard for me to read this book. It's very violent. I saw the movie. Like, I don't have a problem with violent movies like Quentin Tarantino movies and things like that, but like this, I don't remember like if it bothered me or not, but it's very violent to read, and I don't love reading violence. So, but I'm listening to it on Audible. The narrator is, okay. It was like $2.95 on sale when I got it. It's kind of a slow read, you guys. A lot of people have been voxing me on Voxer, Peter Mon on Voxer, and saying things to me about how they're like very confused about what's happening. They don't really like the characters, because you're not really supposed to like the characters, I don't think. And it is very confusing. And what's funny is I'd be interested to know people that have watched the movie and are reading it like me, because you totally know what the end is all about. So you see it like develop all the way through the book versus people that haven't watched the movie. Because I think it's a huge difference, because when you know what the kind of twist is, then it makes sense as you're reading the book. It's almost like, oh, he wove it all through the book. But if you don't know that, then it's kind of like, I can totally see how it would be confusing and wouldn't make any sense. So for me, it's better having seen the movie, honestly. It's very much like those M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know how to pronounce his name, movies like The Sixth Sense and stuff, where you don't know the whole movie was about until the ending, and then it's kind of like the surprise, and you know what I'm saying. So anyway, but it's Chuck Palahniuk. I know that now. You know why? Because when I started the Audible version, it said, this is an Audible presentation of Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. So if they say it on Audible, then it has to be correct, right? I mean, come on. So yeah, Chuck Palahniuk, Fight Club, Fight Club, Fight Club. So that's what I have been reading this week. What have you guys been reading? Do you guys see? I have my Jake Ryan right here. Do you see? And the pumpkins are out for Halloween. I asked Alex last night. I was like, can I keep the pumpkins out for Halloween, please? He was like, yeah, babe, sure. So I was like, yay, I'm gonna keep the pumpkins out. So if you guys haven't heard me talk about this before on this channel, I don't know, maybe I didn't talk about it on this channel. Maybe I talked about it on my other channel. But like, we haven't put up a Christmas tree for like 3 years because we have so much family. Like Alex's entire family lives here, and my family lives here, that we're never like at our house for Christmas. And so he, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was like, do you really want to put up a Christmas tree? It's just a lot of work and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was already like the second week of December, and I was like, I guess not. But I was like really sad that we didn't put up a Christmas tree. And so then like last year, it was like right after Thanksgiving, he was like, so what are we gonna do about this Christmas tree thing this year? And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I really want the trouble of it. This is when you know you're becoming an adult. Like, this is really sad, right? And I was like, okay. And then there was like one night when I was sitting here like watching TV and we had a fire made, because we have a fireplace. And I was like, I wish we had a Christmas tree. And I said, oh, I wish we had a Christmas tree. And he goes, well, then why didn't you put up a Christmas tree? Because putting up a Christmas tree by yourself is so much fun, right? So then I thought, well, next year, I'll just get like one of those tabletop Christmas trees. But honestly, they remind me of retirement homes, which make me really sad. And so I don't even know that I'm gonna do that. You guys are like, what are you talking about? It is September and you're talking about Christmas trees. I have to think this stuff out, you guys. Because before I know it, it's gonna be December and I'm gonna have no Christmas tree up. And then it's gonna be like that book that I read when I was a kid called The House Without a Christmas Tree. And who wants to live that way? Because it's so incredibly, totally sad. But I do have that little Charlie Brown's Christmas tree with the blanket underneath it. Linus's blanket. I love that so much. With the one little thing. We have in our front yard, lightning hit this huge tree that we had. And so our neighborhood association came and they took it out and the stump and everything. It really depressed me. I said to the lady that was president of the neighborhood association, she goes, well, we took your stump out for you. And I said, well, I really wish you would have left it for me. She goes, why do you want that reminder? I go, it reminded me of the giving tree. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. What? I was like, you don't know what the giving tree is? Did you grow up in here? Where did you, I mean, the giving tree? I mean, didn't you get it for every birthday like I did for my mother? So anyway, so we don't have that tree anymore. We don't have the sweet little giving tree out front that made apples and gifts and all that kind of stuff. And then I was an old man that could sit on the giving tree. No, you know what we have? This skinny ass tree that isn't thick at all anymore that birds don't even want to come to. And I have all these bird feeders that I can't even put on there because they just fall to the ground. So last year for Christmas, you know what I did? I put one big red bulb on it that I got at Walmart, and it was like $2.49 for one of these big red bulbs. And everybody that walked by would go, oh, I get it, Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. Get it? So anyway, you have to think about these things. I mean, yesterday I was talking about Halloween, but today I'm talking about Christmas. You guys catch up. Come on. I don't even know what holiday-themed books I'm going to read this year. I don't really usually read holiday... Okay, no, that's not true. Last year, this is totally the most rambling-ass videos in the world. Last year, I read Debbie McComber's Dashing Through the Snow. Okay, let me just put this out there. I am not a Debbie McComber fan, all right? And I don't care if you are. Have at it. Read all of them. But I was so excited. I got it, I think, at Walmart, actually. And I was like, oh, I want to read a Christmas book, so I'll read Debbie McComber's Dashing Through the Snow, and I got it, and I started it like December 10th, and I finished it in February. I was like, I've got to finish this. I paid $15 for it. So, yeah. And let me see what else has been going on in my week this week. I don't know. I'm actually, a friend of mine is calling me right now, and I don't know that I really want to talk about it or not. But I had a friend of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, whose son died of a heroin overdose last year. And it's been exactly a year, and her second son just died of a heroin overdose. So whoever your close friends and family are, love them, because you never know when somebody's going to be gone. And I feel really proud to be part of this BookTube community, and that people are loving and forgiving and honest and accepting. And it's been really hard the last couple days with dealing with my friend's loss, and I feel really good to be able to turn on this camera every day. This got really depressing really quick, didn't it? But I feel really good to be able to turn this camera on every day and have somebody to talk to and not feel so all alone. So thank you for being on the other end and watching my videos, whether you like them or not. When I see that number go up, it makes me feel like somebody liked it or somebody watched it. So I'm out in somebody else's world, I guess, for a second, and it made me not feel so all alone. And you know, think about those other people that are unfortunately going through tougher times than we are at the moment, and that's where I find a lot of gratitude for my life. And I think that's, for me, why I love reading, because when I'm having hard times, I like go to that and I read, and you guys are like, you're trying to make something out of this. I so am. I'm trying to make something positive out of my friend that just called me. I feel so bad for her. So anyway, for any of you guys that are out there having a really, really bad day or tough times, know that I'm here and I care about you, and yeah, I love you, and I hope your day gets better, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.